Ethan and Lily had been searching for months before they finally found the house. Nestled deep in the countryside, far from traffic, neighbors, and noise, it felt like a fresh start. The house was old but sturdy, with creaky wooden floors and ivy-covered walls. It was the kind of place that had stories etched into its bones, though none were shared by the realtor. The deal was almost too good to be true, and maybe that should have been their first clue. On their second evening in the house, they decided to explore the basement. The air was musty, filled with the scent of damp wood and old paint. Most of the basement was cluttered with boxes, tools, and forgotten furniture, but something about the far wall caught Ethan's attention. It didn't match the rest. It looked newer, smoother, and when he knocked on it, the sound echoed hollowly. Curious, he began pulling away the shelves and boxes stacked in front of it. Behind the clutter was a narrow wooden door with no handle. It had no hinges, no knobs, just a faint outline, as if someone had tried to erase its existence. Lily ran her fingers along the frame, and the wood felt unnaturally cold. "It doesn't feel right," she whispered. But Ethan, ever the skeptic, grabbed a crowbar and forced the door open. A gust of cold, damp air spilled out. Beyond the door was a narrow staircase, descending much deeper than the basement should allow. Every step creaked beneath their feet as they went down, the light from Ethan's flashlight flickering against the moist stone walls. At the bottom was a pitch-black room, windowless, silent, and unsettling. The walls were covered in symbols, drawn in something dark and dried. It looked like ancient writing, but neither of them recognized it. In the center of the room sat a single wooden chair facing the wall. Nothing else. No furniture, no dust even, just that chair, and an overwhelming sense that they were not supposed to be there. Lily pulled Ethan's arm. "Let's go back, please." Ethan nodded, but not before taking one last look at the chair. It almost looked like someone had been sitting in it just moments before they arrived. As they climbed back up, the air grew heavier, like something was watching them leave. Ethan shut the strange door and pushed the shelves back in front of it. Neither of them spoke as they returned upstairs. But even then, in the warmth of the living room, they couldn't shake the cold that had settled deep in their bones. That night, Ethan woke up around 2:17 a.m. The house was silent, but something felt off, like the silence was too deep, too intentional. He lay still, listening. Then he heard it, soft footsteps above them. But their bedroom was on the second floor. There was nothing above them. He got out of bed and checked the hallway, the attic, even the roof from the window. Nothing. Lily stayed asleep, restless and murmuring in her dreams. When morning came, neither of them mentioned the unease, but both felt it. Something had changed. Over the next few days, the house grew colder. Lights flickered even after replacing the bulbs. Doors creaked open on their own. At night, they began to hear whispers just outside the door, just beyond the wall. At first, it was too faint to understand, like the rustling of dry leaves. Then the whispers became clearer. Sometimes they said Ethan's name, sometimes Lily's, but always in a voice that didn't belong to either of them. The worst part was the door. The one in the basement, no matter how many times they sealed it, blocked it, or ignored it, it would always be slightly open the next morning. Just wide enough to suggest an invitation, just wide enough to let something out. One night, Lily woke up screaming. Her eyes were open, but she wasn't fully there. She stood at the top of the basement stairs, barefoot and trembling, her lips moving in silence. When Ethan reached her, she whispered, "It wants me to sit." Ethan was shaken. He tried to convince her it was just sleepwalking, stress. Maybe. The move had taken a toll on them both. But deep down, he knew it was something else, something older than them, something buried beneath the floorboards of that house. The next evening, Ethan went into the basement alone. The door was wide open this time. The chair had moved. It now faced the staircase, like it was waiting. He snapped a picture with his phone, but the screen only showed static, like the room refused to be captured. That night he had a dream. He was in the dark room, tied to the chair, and something was whispering right behind his ear. He woke up with a nosebleed and scratches on his arms he couldn't explain. Lily begged him not to go back down there again, but Ethan couldn't stop thinking about it. The symbols, the chair, the presence. It was like it had buried itself inside his mind. The house no longer felt like theirs. It felt like they were trespassers, and the true owner was finally waking up. Ethan couldn't stay away. Something about the room had taken root in his mind. The more he tried to resist, the stronger the pull became. He stopped eating. He stopped sleeping. He spent hours staring at the wall where the hidden door lay behind shelves, like he was waiting for it to open on its own. Lily begged him to leave the house with her just for a few days, but Ethan only said, "I have to know what it wants." That night, while Lily was asleep, Ethan went into the basement alone. He didn't bring a flashlight. He didn't need one. The door was already open, the staircase lit by a faint, unnatural glow that seemed to come from nowhere. The room looked different now. The symbols on the walls were glowing faintly red. The stone floor was wet like the room had been crying. The air was thick with whispers, dozens of voices overlapping each other, speaking in tongues Ethan didn't recognize yet somehow understood. In the center of the room, the chair was no longer empty. Someone or something was sitting there. Its head was down, long arms resting on its knees. It looked like a person, but as Ethan stepped closer, his breath caught in his throat. The thing in the chair had his face, same eyes, same scars, but the skin was pale, rotting, and when it slowly looked up, it smiled. A voice echoed inside Ethan's head, not from the creature, but from the walls themselves. "Only one can leave." Upstairs, Lily woke to silence. Ethan wasn't in bed. She ran to the basement, heart pounding, and found the shelves pushed aside. The door was gone. Not closed, gone, as if it had never existed. Just solid concrete. She screamed his name, pounded on the wall, clawed at the stone. And then she heard it. A slow knock from inside. Then a whisper. Her name. Lily. She backed away, trembling. Behind her, the lights flickered and died. The house fell into complete darkness, but the knocking didn't stop. It still hasn't.